Well, none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots, yeah. None of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Children have to go back to the roots. I'm telling you now, the truth, the truth. Telling you, yeah, the truth, the truth. You have to go back to the roots, the roots. Go to the roots, to the roots. Yeah, man, you know, this is Benjamin out of the Smiling Coast, West Africa, Gambia, representing for the one and only Abu, the big man you don't know, the Soninke warrior, the man that brings the truth, Soninke warrior, the sign of enlightenment, the Soninke warrior, the righteous and the true African. Abu, reveal the truth to them, you know, no matter how them try run from it, because none of them can hide from the truth, yeah. Yes, we have to dig back the roots, yeah. Fire!
Subscribe now.
I remember the days, all those years ago that never fade away. And I remember your face when you hit the ground. I can recall the time and place on a midnight walk through the old streets, trying to turn back the clock to the days of old, back to the days when all the things we knew were made of gold. As the world moves on, time sings a song. In the old neighborhood, as the clock strikes one, the memory lives just as it stood, like a quiet dream.
All right. Can you guys hear me now? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome all of you to today's edition of the Afridamus Report. As usual, please make sure you hit the like and also subscribe. Sorry, I missed out on yesterday's show. You know, in life, stuff happens. You never know, right? But I'm here today. I hope you guys are ready for a good show. And when I say a good show, people, you have to have values. Everyone you see and know have values. But these values, what do they entail? See, each and every one of us, believe in something, right? You believe in something. You're from a culture. But in the United States, I'm going to explain the United States to you. What you're seeing on television, this LGBTQIA stuff, this right here, at one point, right, they said, we want to come out of the closet. It wasn't a thing where, like, now they've gone past the gay, like, it, male and male, female and female. Now it is in a whole different realm. So the entire society itself, it's like eating itself out. And they call this progress. They call this progress. They are teaching and indoctrinating the children in the public spaces, public schools. It doesn't matter whether they are black, white, blue, or green. Clearly there's an indoctrination and, a new, quote unquote, a new world have been invented as far as, many of these people are concerned. And it's been pushed as Western culture. The kids have been indoctrinated. Something has happened. They've made it a norm. But now, how is this going to affect other parts of the world? That's what we're going to be talking about. Because they've made it a thing where skin color is a handicap, right? So you look at the struggle that Black people went through in America, the history. So they flip that now. They're flipping that. They're like, okay, we, because first handicap was being blacks, the skin color. Now they are talking about sexuality. And they're asking these questions. They are trying to shame Africans into accepting, sexuality to be the determinant of human rights. They are saying that African society is backwards if they do not accept this quote unquote new value. So the questions are being asked and people are responding. But guys, nothing blows my mind, right? I have been in these debates for years where, when I was in the 14th grade, those of you that are new here, that would be called college in wherever you at. So we went to, some sort of, it's like a seminar. And this seminar, it's about marginalized group, black and brown, it's like they just come up with, these ideas. They're like, hey, guess what? You being Muslim, that means, you are marginalized. By whom? That would mean you are looking for someone's validation who's marginalizing you. But long story short, I was able to go to this because obviously, as you can tell, I am black, as the ace of spade. So I qualified. I went to this. But I would tell you, guys, there were many second generation Africans there. A lot of them, right? They were attending this occasion. So the first thing they did was they're like, to separate the bathrooms, the way bathrooms are usually, right? Male, female. They said that is discrimination against them. So they're going to remove that and make everybody mingle together. To me, that's suspicious. Perversion number one. I have no problem with the way the bathrooms are. In fact, I love the way they are. Women's section, male section. But who is sitting there thinking about these things? And there are young people there. So these people can mingle, with these young other people and groom them. That's how I see it. But then we move on. So we go into different rooms where different quote unquote marginalized groups will come and speak. So this one room I went to is the Muslim room. So there was a imam. So this is, like on Facebook, the Gambian Facebook section, when I ask questions about Islam and stuff, the people get upset. They get mad at me because they are hypocrites, right? Because I have seen the type of preaching some of these people do when it's in Africa to Africans. And in the West, it's completely different. Completely different. But that's why people have to be careful about being hypocrites. What is that Muslim imam, first of all, doing in a place like that? A group saying, you, because you're inferior, you're marginalized group, you went to this. who are you looking, whose validation you looking for? Allah's validation or that flag that is telling you you are marginalized? You guys see foul number 1 right there, right? I gave him a yellow card, a yellow card. And then in the crowd there, guys, there were 2 individuals, because I tell you, this whole thing is confusing. It's been confusing from day one. You guys think this just happened? This is just happening now? I told you when I was I'm telling you when this happened, I was in the 13th grade or 14th grade. So these 2 individuals were in the crowd, and I don't know if they identify as man, woman, horse, donkey. I have no idea, but all I know is these people are there. They raise their hand to ask question to this Muslim imam. And this question was, hey, do you Muslims accept LGBTQIA people? Do you guys accept? So the imam says, the imam was like, well, as of now, Islam do not accept it yet, but me, myself, personally, I have no issue. Guys, I couldn't bite my tongue. I raised my hand and I said to those 2, I said, are you Muslim? They said, no. I said, do you have any interest in being Muslim? Said, no. I said, then why are you asking this question? I said, you are part of a group. Are you happy with who you are? Said, yes. I said, why don't you guys stick with your group, follow your own rules? But you are coming here, you want to antagonize this group. You clearly know that your values is not accepted in Islam, but yet you come here to ask this question. So when you get the real question, because let me tell you, when the imam said no, one of the individual was trying to pretend to cry. But the moment I gave this speech to them, I said, this is a problem. I said, does everyone have to accept you? I said, whatever I believe in or who I am, I said, I don't care if you care about that. I said, why can't we just do it like that? You don't want to be Muslim. You will never be Muslim. Just leave. Guys. And they left. And that coward imam came to me and shook my hand and said, oh, thank you very much for speaking, for telling the truth. So now we fast forward to Africans in Uganda. There's a video circulating, right? You look at these Western blacks, many have gone to school in the Western world, and some, they teeter around the line with this gay lifestyle. Even when they don't participate in it, they have to pretend to talk soft on it. And now that they also are traveling, they are trying to bring their values, this Western value here. Let me show you what stage people are at in the United States of America. You cannot even, you're not allowed to answer the question if you're a public figure. What is a woman? They literally made a documentary about that. You are not allowed to say, like, okay, I can say, now my name is Amanda, for instance. My name is Amanda. And everybody would applaud me. Did you guys see Gabrielle Union's speech on the quote-unquote NAACP award? Getting award just for, saying, I'm no longer a boy. I'm no longer a boy. Imagine that. So I've seen some African, right? They posted this meme about some African saying, African meme saying, when I have a child, I want my my, my daughter to be a boy, or my, and they were laughing like this is impossible. To Africans, it's impossible. I get it. Two different worlds. But now, if I'm telling, let me just show you. Let me show you where we are as of right now in America. Like, being gay in America is no longer extreme. Like, that's become a norm, right? Let me show you, what is coming, so that before we get in this conversation, you guys understand what I'm saying. Here we go.
Or a non-binary person, which, depending on their assigned gender at birth, having or not having had the surgery. But it is that exclusion that makes it transphobic. So, if you say that you like women and you like BJ, then that would mean that you're attracted to cis women and trans women who have had bottom surgery. It is just that exclusion that makes it transphobic. You can have a genital preference, but to exclude trans people is transphobic.
All right. So did you see that? So guys, what this man was saying is, so for example, if a man, like, your name was Bobby, and then now you can just say, guess what? Now Bobby is no longer, Bobby is Brandy. I am Brandy, right? You can put makeup on. This is why I don't, guys, do not trust women with makeup on these days. Like, because nowadays there's guys, not all of them look weird like that. Some of them do look like Amanda for real. They are out there. You've seen them. Look, I can tell you stories that I'm seeing at the gym. If that enters the African continent, there would be war. There's no way Africans would remotely even tolerate it. Guys, I'm telling you something here that is, I'm sure some of you have seen it. And even what I'm saying, it will be considered an abomination. Now they have Gabrielle Union, a popular actress, black actress. What you just saw right there in that video that I showed you, this man is saying, they are now saying females have male genital parts. That's what they're telling you. So if you don't accept it, that makes you a hater. So there is an agenda happening. So let's look at what some of the blacks have been asking Africans. They've started with African presidents, and they continue to push. I will bring what the African presidents are going to say, but I have a video here to also share. The Kinganda made a podcast about it. I would bring that also for you guys to see, because you see, guys, some of you, I get it. This YouTube, it might be entertainment factor, but I would tell you, some of this podcast, some of you that are watching me, you might not like what I'm going to say. I am telling you about facts. This is not the United States of America, home of the free and home of the delusional. If you're listening to this podcast, they're giving you too much entertainment, giving you that sugar because you think you are in the United States, and you take that lightly and follow what they are saying, you are endangering yourself. You are endangering yourself. So I'm going to come to that, because here's the thing. The law in the United States is not the law that governs every country on this earth. saying that you're black, seeing your blackness as handicap. In Africa, blackness is not a handicap. It doesn't even matter. You could be you can be blacker than my shirt. It doesn't matter. That's not what people go by. They go by morality, and they see this as immoral. That's how it is viewed. So if you're listening to some of these podcasts, and they're making this light to you, and you're listening to some of these African females on this podcast just giggling, and you go along with this, you are putting your life in danger. They are totally just blowing smoke up your ass. Let me put it that way. So I have a video here to play by a young lady. I think she's Ugandan, and she broke it down really well. She broke it down really well, because of the questions that these people have been asking. So they want to test the African water, because they've tried with the African presidents first, and they continue to try. They try to use the primitive talk, like if Africans don't go along this, that means Africans are backwards, right? It is not working. Africans are not budging. But now we have new customers. They're using different skills. If you notice now, right, the questions, because the white people have been pushed against, they've been pushed against about racism, the agenda, the people that control the agenda, right? So now notice they use African, like second generation Africans who were born and raised in the West, that quote unquote went to these schools. They plant them as journalists to challenge the African presidents. I have a video. I'm going to do something on that another day. So these people are using these tactics against Africa. And now, once I get deep into this, you would see the infiltration. You would see that this is an agenda. It's a worldwide agenda. And now Africa is the next battleground. They want to push this. So here we go. Let me do my fair usage here, and then we will get into the show. In the meantime, go get your tea, your egusi soup, or ugali, whatever you enjoy. Go do that. And in the meantime, hit the like as well. Come on, hit the like, hit the like. All right. So I got a good video here. So anyone that truly want to get an answer, you want to have real answer, I would watch this video. There are many people who, because, African females are online, people are being nice. They're like, oh yeah, blacks, come on home, come on home. But you see now, the moment Africans now start beginning to understand that black and that lifestyle is synonymous. That's how they've made it for people now. I'm not saying all black people are like that, but blacks don't have control over blackness. Like the NAACP is who sets the agenda of what is supposed to be, black culture. And now Gabriel have already announced what the new agenda is. So these questions here, they are not just coming just out of the blue. Like these people didn't just wake up one day and say, oh, let's now push to Africa. This has been ongoing for a while. Just like here in America, it used to be, like they would say, oh, such and such got out of the closet. It used to be like news, like Oh, such and such came out of the closet, such and such. Oh, some preacher who used to preach against, the homosexuals, it turns out he's one of them. That used to be a big deal. So now they stepped out of the closet into the living room, and they are in the middle of the street now. Not even in the middle of the street. They are in, most of y'all, in your living room. In your living room. I mean, go, like, guys. But yeah, let me play this video here.
I've encountered a lot in the comments, like most times, because I tell you guys to come into the motherland, whichever African country that you want to go to, just come. It's your motherland, right? And the most comment is when people are asking me, I am gay and I think in the motherland I will not be welcomed. What is the take of being homosexual in Africa? Guys, let's talk about it. If you are coming to Uganda or Africa in particular, you should know that.
I like how she introduced it. She's letting us know most of the question that is being asked. Remember, guys, at one point, it was, oh, because I'm black, right? Somebody is pushing that to be the leading point. So now in the United States, everything on TV, they're bombarding people with, sexuality. So imagine, first of all, you meet somebody, it's like, hey, hi, oh, my name is Joe Schmo. I would like you to know that I like having sex with men. Guys, is this how people live in the world? So first of all, even if you've never thought about that, if somebody come up to you, that's how they're introducing themselves. How is anyone supposed to react to that? And even in the United States here, why do you think they've changed the label to, the Black Lives Matter, to hide behind that and all these labels? Because they did a survey. Don't be fooled by what Hollywood is selling to you or what these popular medias are selling to you. They did pollings and found out, despite all this pushing to try to push it down, even the American people's throat, they are finding out most Americans just pretend in public, because they are scared of the backlash to lose their job. They just pretend, but they are against it. In fact, in California, years ago, when they put it on the ballot to try to allow same sex. They found out, like they lost, but the state forced it upon the people. But when they checked, it was majority blacks who voted against it. So with the Gabrielle Union thing, because what I'm about to tell you here, the indoctrination, the attack right now is they are trying to change the blacks to accept this fully. So they are doing it together with Africa. So the ones that already are following the real back to Africa people to bring this along. That's what is happening. Kill two birds with one stone. Because if you remember in the 90s, right? Black inner cities were having what? The crack epidemic, fighting one another. Do you remember what was going on in West Africa in the 90s? Coups upon coups, young soldiers taking over, most people dying. You think that's by coincidence? You have to go read. It's not by coincidence. There's a reason why they put the blacks on TV, because they are being used not only against themselves, but against Africa too. And you will see that in this gay agenda. Who is asking this young lady these questions? Who is asking? It is not white people. It is blacks, Blatt Gays. Let's go.
the continent itself is cultured, it has its own morals, it has its own way of living. But specifically, let me talk about Uganda, my country. If you are planning to come to Uganda, you should know we have diversity in the way that we believe. We have a lot of Christians, a lot of Muslims, a lot of spiritual people, culture people. If there's one thing that we all know and agree on, it's gayism is not allowed. As a Ugandan, when I was growing up, I could see people and I could know they are gay, because to me, being gay is being a lesbian or, same sex, man, girl. These things of transgender, these things of everything that is happening in the world today, we don't know that. We just know if you're gay, you're either a man and a man or a woman and a woman. The other things that came around today, we do not know. So we just put them in a same box and that's it. But then still, if you're coming to Uganda, you should know the president himself of the country has been very strong when it comes to homosexuality for every.
Exactly. She's correct. Many of these people, again, they are pushing skin color. They think that's how the world works, right? So these are countries, they have presidents, they have values. You might want to find out what the laws are and what the president's stance are. It is not, because some people, they're like, oh, because I'm black, because in America, that's what you are being told, that being black means something. It means nothing. People defend their culture and their values. So you might want to find that out. Guys, please hit the like and also hit the super like. You guys know the best edutainment channel on this side of heaven. Please make sure you continue to hit that. Here we go.
Very long time. He's been really strong on it. Actually, let me play for you a clip so that you can see, and then we continue with the video.
I want to congratulate the Ugandan believers for rejecting homosexuality. We have been telling them, please, this problem of homosexuality is not something that you should normalize and celebrate. I told them that it is true that there were some few homosexuals here before the Europeans came here. I had heard of some few stories, but it was clear that this was a deviation from normal. Like you can have somebody with the 6 fingers instead of 5. But now the Europeans, they don't listen, they don't respect other people's views. They want to turn the abnormal into normal and force it on others.
And the problem that we actually have is not actually receiving you, but the fact that you have to put your sexuality first.
Did you guys hear that? Because in the United States, they've scared off all the politicians, their preachers. They cannot talk like Museveni is talking, right? So they would consider it hate. They would consider it hate. Even analyzing this video, right? Even though I don't have the power to pass any laws whatsoever, some broken people would term, oh, Afridamus is a hater. When, in fact, people, you can be whatever you want, but you have to respect other people too. Because it's far too long. People, this agenda thing, they want to disrespect Africa, to say Africans have to accept it. Why should Africans accept it? If you're okay with who you are, just be you. Why should Africans accept this? But they come up with the BS. Oh man, Africans are backwards if you don't accept it. Hey, if that's what determines whether you're backward or not, I guess Africans are cool with it. And I'll tell you, majority of Americans, again, like I said, if you truly poll them, that's what they will tell you. This is why they force feed it in school, to teach children this. They are force feeding it. They are taking people's kids from them that stand against this. There was a man, right? I did a show on that in Seattle, Washington. Pakistani guy took his son to the hospital. I guess he was having tantrums, whatever. His son. When he got there, the son's name was Muhammad. And when he got there, they said, who is that? He said his son. They said the son no longer identifies as a son. And if he continues to refer to him as that, as Muhammad, changed his name to some female name. They said if he continues to do that, they would have to, take the child from him. So the guy had to pretend to go along just to get his son from the hospital. Once he got his son, he left the state completely. Like, he's like, F this. He left the state. Imagine this. He just took his son to the children's hospital. At the children's hospital, and, within 2 days, now the son is no longer Muhammad. So you want to tell me somebody's not doing this? Somebody is not indoctrinating, confusing other people's children? But okay.
If you are to introduce yourself, you want to show me how your sexuality is. I want to know you as a person. I don't need to know your sexual preference. I mean, if you're going to South Africa, it's okay. If you go to South Africa, it's very legal. You can go and have fun, enjoy, be free. It's okay. It's different.
Yeah, South Africa accepts this lifestyle. Okay? It's legal there. She's right. Like, if I'm meeting you, I don't need to know about your sexuality. And this is what these people are leading with. I totally agree with her. This is weird to Africans and to many people.
In other African countries, when you come to Uganda as a female gay or as a male gay, we will not know unless you're trying to push it in our faces. I'm not trying to say it has never happened in Uganda or we don't know that it exists. We know people who are, but they don't show affection. It's more of a society of we know, but don't talk about it. I mean, even in churches, in mosques, in cultural places, they preach about these things. We just don't give importance to them. If you're coming as a Black American, come with the mindset of, I'm going to another country. And don't come with your sexuality as your label. Come as a human being. Also, we don't do affections. Like, affections in Africa are very different. We hold hands in relationships. I'll make a video about that. But if you're a man, especially from...
Yeah, they're talking about PDA. And, most Africans, sometimes you would have even issues with American women with that. They want to do all this PDA stuff. That's their, that's their way of saying, to show love. But no, you just want to be a slut in public, and you want the rest of the public to know we are sluts here, right? That's how it's seen by African people. You see? So clearly, what she is saying is true. 100%. Like, you want to come around, but I'll let her tell you if you're Black. Okay? Because, now Africans are wary. They're like, okay, these people, this is what their lifestyle is like. So she would tell you, right? If you're Black and you do this in these countries now, people are going to start being suspicious because people are seeing it as it's been pushed on Africa.
From America, and people see you holding hands with men, ooh, you're going to get yourself in trouble, let me tell you. Like, men don't hold hands that way. Actually, in some of the comments that I was getting, it was mostly coming from women, especially women who are lesbians. And what I can say about it is, as a woman, I don't know if you'll be crucified that much, because if you come into Uganda, you're going to see girls more touchy. We touch each other, like, people see it as something cute. Like, it's not something that is too much. Maybe now they'll be suspicious because it's now being pushed into the African continent. But like, as a woman, I don't think it will be much of a problem. Like I said, you don't show affection in African societies. You don't show romance in open daytimes in African cultures. It's like something that we see as private. We will judge you unless you show that you want to push yourself sexually to us. And now it's even crazy because we actually had a demonstration from Muslims. They really don't want the situation to come into Uganda at any point. This is the clip, guys.
So guys, this is Ugandan Muslims agreeing with Museveni 100%. So here in the West, they're gonna call this is what they were calling, they said these are haters, anti-gay. But you are saying, if this is your culture, why are you forcing it on another culture? So those of you that are asking online, you listen to certain podcasts, they make it sound light to you. You are seeing exactly how these people feel. You know, do they look like they are joking?
So guys, you've seen the video. Those are Ugandan Muslims. They are really strong on how homosexuality is not allowed in Uganda. It's even trending right now. Like really, Uganda is trending on that issue. We don't accept it. I personally, I don't accept it, but it doesn't stop me from having people who are homosexuals, because at the end of the day, we are all human beings. I just don't need you to push your sexuality in my face. That is the problem I have. And we recently had a musician who had a concert and they kissed on the stage. Let me tell you guys, they were cancelled and forced to apologize to the audience, or otherwise they were going to be kicked out of Uganda at some point.
Guys, remember what I said about whatever is going on in Black America? Know that that is the direction they want to push on Africa. You guys remember there was something trending, some award, I guess BET award, where two male musicians kissed. Some, you know, now they're pushing that agenda on stage. So they tested the water. You see, this black thing. Now you guys see why I'm telling you, like, the color means nothing. So it's like this label, all these people are under this label. They're using this black skin color thing to push perversion. So this guy in Uganda goes on stage to look at them here, trying to push. They kissed on stage to try to normalize this.
My name is Joseph Chameleon Mayanja. I wish to use this opportunity to also apologize to my fans, friends, for the deed shared on stage. I know most of my friends are really offended. I sincerely apologize.
They had to apologize. That's how strong it is. Come knowing you're in a country that has its own rules. And as Ugandans, we know that Americans are perverted people, I'm sorry to say. Like when we see you guys, we're like, oh my God, these guys, they're always doing crazy things. Oh my God, these guys. And so when you come and you start doing these things, even if they've been around, as in homosexuality.
So you hear that. She's right. If you're from America, the West, most of it, this deep down, people already see you as sexually perverted to begin with. So, like, that's how you're judged. So so adding this onto it, you're not doing yourself any justice.
Is in Uganda, though it's not that dominant, people will assume you're the one that brought it in Uganda because you are American. If you show any affection with your fellow man in Uganda, people will throw stones at you. People will chase you. Like, that is how crazy it is. And I'm not trying to scare you, but just know we as Ugandans don't accept it. It's really unacceptable. And we've been having issues where they are trying to push the agenda in the little kids in schools and people are really protesting about it. Like, it's not something that we really embrace at any point. I can't speak for the majority, but it's not allowed in Uganda, though it exists. And if you go to fashion shows, actually, you're going.
So you know how, like, so what she's saying is true. This is entirely not acceptable there, right? But does that mean it doesn't exist? No. So some of you who perpetuate victimhood, your take on it, you're so used to, oh, white people do it too mentality. Just because you know some white crackhead doing something, they didn't get caught, you know, that doesn't mean dealing crack is legal. It doesn't, if the police see him, he is gone too. So just because you go to Uganda, you go to some fashion show, some underground place, and you are around people with this lifestyle, you come out on social media talking, but it's hypocritical, this is happening. Just know you are telling on those people it is illegal in that country. You think you're fighting justice, you are telling on those people. So just FYI, because most of these people seem to lack common sense. They've been indoctrinated completely, 100% indoctrinated.
To see a lot of men, women who you can actually spot and know that they are, but they don't come to you and tell you, hey guy, you know, I am gay, I like men, I like women. No, they don't. You just know and leave it at that. Africa is welcome. Africa is very loving. Africa is your home, but if you're coming, you need to leave some cultures of the Americas to America when you're coming into the continent. Like, try as much as you can to leave some behaviors in America before you come into African countries. Otherwise, you end up being, what's the word? I don't know, maybe crucified. Maybe that's too much. I don't know. It's not funny, but that is it. I am not the one who's making laws, but that is what it is. It's really.
So you see how she's giving the facts, and I'm here breaking it down, giving the facts. Some people, they don't want to hear this. They would think, oh, these people are hateful. No, but this is the facts. Like, literally, there is like no push, like no compromise. Like, because I know people like to pretend that, because you've been brainwashed to believe that Africans don't have control over their environment. You confuse global trade with, our actual culture. Like, Africans, we do not play with our cultural values. Like, that's a complete infringement on our cultural values. So trying to push this on Africa, man, I mean, I believe you can have nukes, whatever, but Africans are willing to go to war about this one. I'm just saying.
Unacceptable. You give respect, and given respect back. Respect our cultures, respect us as Africans, us as Ugandans. We'll give you the same respect back. That's it. But anyway, if you're coming, just know that I have a small Airbnb for you guys. Yeah, just a small, place for you to come and get.
She's so good. She's like, hey, if you're coming still, just make sure you check out my Airbnb. That's right, guys. She's a loving person. She just gave you the rundown, the 411. Shout out to her. You should thank her. She's 100% correct. This is what information should be like. It's not about what you like or don't like. Real information would save your life, and you should respect other people if you want to be respected. Plain and simple.
Bit of my African home and experience it if you can. And yeah, guys, that is it for today. Please comment and tell me what you guys. Africans are very strong on it. The presidents are very strong on it. Religious people, Muslims, cultural people, everybody is very strong on it. And so just come with a cautious mind. Yeah, that's what I have to say about it.
So guys, you hear that, right? You hear that. So I'm going to go through some videos here. I'm going to show you the stance of several different African presidents who have been asked this question, from Rwanda. Hold on. Let me show you a video here. Give me a moment. Let me show you, several presidents, what their take was on this. Give me a moment. So several African presidents have spoken about this, and I will tell you what their stance is. Let me show you what Gambia's former president. Let me show you. They started with Gambia's former president, Yahya Jammeh, right? So it would give you an idea of where Africa stands on this. Let's see, Yahya Jammeh, what he thinks about homosexuality being legal in the Gambia at the time. Here.
Africans have never been homosexual. We have never seen homosexual frogs. I have cattle. I've never seen homosexual gay cattle. And homosexuality is detrimental to human existence. It's un-African, it's unethical, it's ungodly. Go to the Bible and the Quran. We are Muslims, and we believe in the Almighty Allah and what He says. Whatever Allah says is haram, we will make sure it's haram to the letter. I don't care what they feel about me. I didn't introduce the death penalty here. I found it here. And the British brought the death penalty to the Gambia. Before colonialism, there was no death penalty in Africa. Don't you know that? Go to history.
But it's also said it is also said, Mr. President, that it was the colonials who brought in the laws against homosexuality into Africa, and Africans have maintained and kept those laws. So to be truly African would be to remove those laws forbidding homosexuality and to remove the death penalty.
Are you attributing that homosexuality is African?
There are some Africans who say so.
Guys, this was Jammeh's stand, and it's still his stand. I'm gonna bring in Museveni too. Just hang tight.
Yeah. Now in the slave trade, doesn't Africans capture people in the bush? So those are the same type of Africans that we still have that they use against us.
Did you guys hear that? So Jammeh is saying the Africans who are bringing this homosexuality were the same Africans who were capturing Africans and selling them into slavery. So here we go.
So I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, but homosexuality is un-African. And let me also make it very clear. Even if the whole world accepts it, Jammeh will not accept it in the Gambia. Let them go and tell me whatever they want to tell. Do I care? I don't. What I care about is how Almighty Allah sees me. I'm a Muslim. In fact, none of them can take me to hell or heaven. But it's the Almighty Allah who will take me to wherever He decides. And homosexuality would never be accepted in this country. They can call me any name. Do I care? I don't.
Imagine, Mr. President, if you knew somebody, thought they were talented, and they were even related to you, and that person presented themselves as a homosexual, said, I can't help it, it's how I was made. Would you still condemn them, or would you say, I must be merciful, beneficent? What would you say?
In applying the law, I have no relative. I have sworn to the Holy Quran that I will do my duties without fear or favor, ill will or affection.
When you hand someone your logo sticker, you put your brand out into the world because.
So guys, you hear that, right? You heard that was Yahya Jammeh in the Gambia. So the video didn't even finish. Because the law, he's like, you're going straight to prison. And they want to know. So that African, the guy that is interviewing him, he's African. He's a Sierra Leonean, I guess he was born in the UK. Sierra Leonean in the UK. So like he's saying, they are sending the people that look like us, look like African, they're Africans, but educated in the West. They come and ask the questions. It's an agenda that has been set. So now let me play several African presidents, so you guys can hear, because it is not Africans that are, trying to offend anybody or bring this against anyone. They are the ones pushing this on Africans. Watch this. Give me a moment. Let me set this. All right, let's go.
Reporter, which is the LGBT newspaper, and for people who don't know what LGBT is, that's the gay and lesbian community. So I'm wondering, you've done so much for women in Rwanda, and they have so much power. I'm wondering, is the LGBT community a part of the future of Rwanda?
I don't know if I understand.
So did you guys hear the question, right? So now, because they would come to you, like as the authority, like determining for you, because the question is set up like, okay, if you say, like it's a yes or no. So if you say no, that means, you are against what we have. So therefore you have to be punished. Let's hear what, Rwandan president is going to say.
That's true. They have to just ask, but I guess I understand. I understood. But LGBT,
Homosexuality.
yes, it hasn't been our problem.
You guys hear that? So if you're here in America, They are telling you, oh, this is the world's problem. Africans are into this. We did African studies. So he's being nice. I showed you Yaya Jammeh. Now you're hearing him. The only other African country that is accepting this is South Africa. Because guess what? The white people put that in their law. But you ask the regular, most of the black South Africans, you know, in fact, I have a video on that. I would do that another day. They are not with the program, just so you know.
And we don't intend to make it a problem. So we are struggling.
So you guys hear that, right? Let me move it forward. We're going to get to Museveni because this is about Uganda especially. Here, let's hear with Kenya, because all of these people are saying, I even heard on podcast saying, oh, in Kenya, it is accepted. So let's hear, here's former Kenyan president, and even Ruto, I have video on him too. Here we go.
These things. And the fact of the matter is that Kenya, the United States, we share so many values. Our common love for democracy, entrepreneurship, value for families. These are things that we share. But there are some things that we must admit we don't share. Our culture, our societies don't accept. It's very difficult for us to be able to impose on people that which they themselves do not accept. This is why I repeatedly say that for Kenyans today, the issue of gay rights is really a non-issue. We want to focus on other areas that are day-to-day living for our people. The health issues that we have discussed with President Obama, these are critical. Issues of ensuring inclusivity and of women, a huge section of society that is normally left out of the mainstream of economic development. What we can do in terms of infrastructure, what we can do in terms of education, in terms of our roads, in terms of giving our people power, encouraging entrepreneurship. These are the key focuses. Maybe once, like you have overcome some of these challenges, we can begin to look at new ones. But as of now, the fact remains that this issue is not really an issue that is on the foremost mind of Kenyans, and that is the fact.
That's Kenya. Now, our great Robert Mugabe, let's hear what he has to say.
We equally reject attempts to prescribe new rights that are contrary to our values, norms, traditions, and beliefs. We are not gays. Cooperation and respect for each other will advance the cause of human rights worldwide. Confrontation, vilification, and double standards will not. Mr. President.
Something you said a little earlier on about freedom of expression. So I want to ask you about.
This is Ghanaian president, right? Here we go.
What is happening in your country and homosexuality, for example, which I believe is illegal and it's punishable. I mean, why is homosexuality still illegal in your country?
The social, cultural issues, if you like. I don't believe that in Ghana so far, a sufficiently strong coalition has emerged, which is having that impact on public opinion that will say, change it. Let's then have a new paradigm in Ghana.
Is that something you would get behind?
I think that it is something that is bound to happen. And when that happens.
So he is saying it's something that is bound to happen. So Nana Akufo, he's a Western minded. He's not supporting it, but he's saying, I guess he's being real. He's being a realist, saying the way it's been pushed. But African society is not going to go for it. He's giving a Western answer, lukewarm answer. Did you guys see the African-based presidents, the one that were not raised in the West, their answer versus the one that was raised in the West?
Going to provoke it? What's going to make it happen?
Oh, it's the activity like elsewhere in the world, the activities of individuals, of groups. I grew up in England. I went to school as a young boy in England, and I grew up at the time in England when homosexuality was banned there. It was illegal.
So did you hear that? He's a foundational black Brit. So guys, now everything is making sense. Nana Akufo as a kid was studying, was celebrating Black History Month, or maybe they didn't have Black History Month yet at the time. So that's why he's inviting his people. He's a foundational British feather. So he's giving a feathery answer. So now everything makes sense why he's inviting, the blacks, the Black Brits and others. Those are his people. He grew up there with them. So Kwesi might not like this, but him and Nana Akufo are the same. They both grew up there with their British accents.
So, and I lived the period when British politicians thought it was anathema even to think about changing the law, and then suddenly the activities of individuals or groups, a certain awareness, a certain development, grew and grew and grew stronger, and it forced a change in law. I believe that those are the same processes that will bring about changes in our situation. At the moment, I don't see that in Ghana there is that strong current of opinion that is saying this is something that we need to deal with. It's not so far a matter which is on the agenda.
We are saying.
So guys, so you heard that, right? But Gabriel Union is over there in Ghana. So this is former Zambian president. Let's hear his take on this.
No, homosexuality. Why should you say we're going to be civilized if we only allow it? Are you saying we are very primitive now because we are frowning upon homosexuality? Even animals don't do it. Why should we be forced to do it because we want to be seen to be smart, to be seen to be civilized and advanced and so on?
Many people, even if they...
Guys, so now you understand why, like Africans, we're shoot a straight cut. You take the difference between Nana Akufo's answer compared, you see the Zambian president. The Zambian president, did you hear his answer? Now, here comes the great man himself, Museveni. Let's hear Museveni. Here we go.
May not be the majority, regard it as their right to have free choice in choosing who they love, who they want to have sex with, and don't believe that the state should get involved.
It's not the state, it is the society.
But you signed it into law.
Yes, but I'm acting on behalf of the society. I'm not. It's not just the state; it is the society, and that's why I would like to advise the Europeans and the Western groups that this.
Are you guys hearing this? So Museveni is not playing about this. He's letting you know straight. I'm going to advise the Western world. So those of you that live in the West here, telling yourself, your black foundation and thinking it's the black thing. This is, I'm telling you, listen carefully. This is what is happening.
This is one area which should be a no-go area, because if they want to real confrontation with us, this is one area they are not going to make our people budge. Okay, they have told us, we have told them, and they are the ones who provoked it in the first place.
But what about the equality of an individual, as the Western countries would argue, to have the right to choose what they want for themselves? That just by virtue of being a human being, they have certain human rights, and one of which is to express themselves freely in the way that they choose.
We cannot accept that behaving unnaturally is a human right.
Why not?
I was regarding it as an inborn problem.
A genetic link to homosexuality.
Genetic distortion.
So you see, smart man, he didn't just condemn. He was open to when they first said it's genetics, whatsoever, right? But now let's go. Let's hear more of, Museveni.
That was my argument. But now our scientists have knocked this one out. And once you argue that it is a question of choice, then really you have lost the argument as far as these Ugandans are concerned.
Do you think that by signing the bill, you're taking Uganda backwards?
Not at all. Not at all. Uganda is where it has always been. The Uganda.
Great answer. Did you guys hear that question? Leading on to say, so trying to make you feel like they are the ones that set what the standard is. So if you sign this, doesn't that move Uganda backwards? No, Uganda have always been Uganda. You know, it's not going to, you know, who gets to decide if it's forward or backwards.
Have never supported our society since time immemorial. I've never supported homosexuals.
What is your message to Western human rights groups, to President Obama,
Respect,
to lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people?
Respect African societies and their values. If you don't agree, you just keep quiet. Let's manage our society the way we see. If we are wrong, we shall find out by ourselves. Just the way we don't interfere with yours.
Do you personally dislike homosexuals?
Of course, they are disgusting. What sort of people are they? How can you go? I never knew.
Guys, did you hear this? Museveni, you know, gave his answer. He has no problem giving his answer. And when he gave that answer, the Westerners were pissed off. So you want to be able to express and push this on people, but they cannot tell you how they feel.
What they were doing, that's what I've been told recently, that what they do is terrible, disgusting. But I was ready to ignore that if there was proof that that's how he's born, abnormal. But now the proof is not there.
Is this about politics more than morality and religion or culture?
Not at all.
There are many critics that have said this is about 2016. This is about the elections, and the majority of people in this country support what you're doing. They support anti-gay legislation.
But why had I refused to sign it? Why had I refused to sign the bill? If that was the case, I had refused to sign it because I wanted it, and I was not going to sign it. Maybe they would have changed it for me to sign it. Until I was confronted by the science, which I demanded from them. You show me whether
it's made you very popular signing this bill, even more so than you are. There are people in this country that would vote for you because of what you did today. The MP.
So you see that, because she's a Westerner, so she's saying, I guess they did this interview in the UK, so saying even people in the UK, white people will vote for Museveni because of this. That's how they take the people's rights away. And she's right. There are many white people who would vote for Museveni, believe it or not, because he is standing on values.
These will win their seats because of what you did.
That's
today.
not my intention. My intention was the truth, the facts, and what is good for.
All right. Can you guys hear me? Someone said no sound. Okay. So I'll play one more video of Museveni responding to Obama, President Obama at the time. So guys, you don't know that, you know, they were threatening. They threatened African countries who are against this. They try to say we're going to use economic sanctions and stuff because they're trying to say this is human rights. Here we go.
On Sunday, U.S. President Barack Obama publicly warned President Museveni over the plan to enact a bill that would sentence gay people to life imprisonment, warning that such discrimination could harm his relationship with the United States.
Guys, you see that? That was President Obama at the time sending, you know, like basically threats. So the United States, for instance, it doesn't matter what color president they have, whatever their agenda is, they are no friend to African societies. They are no friend to you. You know, the only way you're a friend to them is you do exactly as they tell you to. So imagine this. So in his mind, Africans, you know what? How dare you Africans make your own rules, your own laws? Can other countries tell the United States how to run their country? So this is why many people will go, oh, Obama, the first president, black president, you notice they use skin color. But Obama's policy, you are hearing it here.
Museveni has responded by saying he will not allow anyone to lecture Uganda on issues like homosexuality.
Everybody's lecturing us. You should do this, you should do that, you should do that. But this is my house. I know how to run my house. How can you find a married man and you lecture him how to run his house? That shows what we call in Swahili, dharau. Dharau, contempt. It's contempt. You cannot see a mature man with a bald head, you see. And you give me a lecture on how to run my house. Sure, I know how to run my house.
Under the proposed legislation, those convicted of homosexual acts in the East African country could face life imprisonment. The law would also make it a crime not to report gay people. Uganda's economy is largely financed by donor aid. Canada and Norway have also threatened to cut ties with Uganda over the proposed law on homosexuality. About 95% of Ugandans are in support of the tough legislation.
Homosexuality.
So you hear that, right? So this is the street in Uganda. They're asking people. There's a reason why I'm bringing you all these videos, and I'll bring a Western-based podcast in Uganda. You compare what you're hearing here and how they are putting out the information, if it's in line with reality.
It's not good in Uganda here because for us we follow God's orders, whereby God told us to produce and increase his people in the world. So if we do homosexuality, we can't increase more people, we can't create people. For us as
Yeah, that guy, he went biblical. He is following God's command. So you're coming telling this man, don't follow God's command, follow my command. So that's a problem. Like, because they succeeded in the schools in the United States, so they think it's gonna work in Africa. So the only other tactic is to use economic, to say, oh man, we're giving this X, Y, and Z aid, we're gonna cut it. Hey, Museveni's like, cut it. We don't care.
As Africans, we don't believe in homosexuality. And I think as an African, he should take his stand and take what the people in Africa stand for, which is non-homosexuality.
A month ago, President Museveni refused to approve the controversial bill after it had been passed by Parliament. But he recently bowed down to public pressure, promising to sign the anti-gay bill into law. Michael Baleke, CCTV, Kampala, Uganda.
All right. So guys, you heard that, right? You heard that. So now, let me play a podcast here so that you guys hear the take, because I gave you the real news. And when like a Westerner, a Western black person, somebody that believe in this delusion, like how they interpret things versus the actual law and the people they're trying to bring these ideas to, how those people really think. How do they see it? Is it gonna work? Let me play a quick video here, and then I would open the line. It's from the Kinganda channel in Uganda. I want you guys to hear this. And, shout out to O'Shea on this one. He gave some good pointers, but here we go. Give me a moment. Let me put it on. Okay.
Countries like the one we live in right now, where it's illegal, right?
Yeah, it is.
Homosexuality.
Hold on. So they're answering questions.
Take Final Cut Pro to the next level with the ultimate bundle, just $99.
And continent, but people.
So guys, again, in all these places, it is questions that are being asked. So they are responding to the questions, and you would see what is pushed. Individuals are pushing their sexuality and skin color more than who they really are. So Here we go.
reading the comments. We actually do read your comments. We want you to know that you're very special to us. So whatever you put out there in the comment section, we are reading it. And we know our frequent commenters. We love you. Thank you so much for being with us from the beginning. And we saw this comment. I'm going to read out to you guys. So let's listen. I would love, this is from Anita Cameroon. And she said, I would love to travel to the African continent, but people like me are hated. I'm poor, disabled, and gay. I'm not safe here in the US, but to be hated in the motherland would be traumatic. People don't.
So already the question is about, I want you guys to hear the question. But this person is saying they are black, gay, disabled, they are hated in the United States. And to hear that, so the people not accepting that means they hate it. But here we go.
Don't want to talk about this, but I get squeamish hearing come home when black people like me would never be welcome. Now, let me repeat that. She is poor, disabled, and gay. So, are gay people accepted or allowed in this country or in Africa at large?
Let's let maintain solve the problem today.
Solve. I don't know about solve. Sorry, what was your question again?
Are gay people allowed? She says that she doesn't want to come back to the motherland because she feels like she's not safe in the US, but she feels like she will be hated in the motherland. So she can't come back as a gay person because it's like the motherland it's not accepting of who she is.
Right, okay, I get it. There's some countries like the one we live in right now where it's illegal, right?
Yeah, it is.
Homosexuality is illegal.
Yeah.
So yeah, that must be very off-putting for someone like her in a situation, right?
Right.
But in my personal experience of living in Uganda, there's a lot of spaces and a lot of safe spaces for people like our commenter. What was her name again? Cameron.
Anita
Cameron.
Yeah.
Anita Cameron. So it's not as bad as you may think, but you've got to watch your back. That's what I would say. What about Jonita? You living here as a
So guys, did you hear the Black Brit's answer? His answer, does that match the reality of all the clips I showed you, the Ugandans you've heard, and even the president? Does it really match it? Put your answers there. They might want to watch, Ugandan shows and follow Museveni to know what is going on.
No. Let's go to you, then they come to me.
I think there's so many people in this country who live under the rock and want to close their eyes to the fact that there are gay people living and breathing and walking among us. I happened to go for Nyege the last year, and there were so many gay people there. People were loving themselves in the open. People were dressing how they wanted. Men were in wigs with a full face beat. A lot was happening in the see-through vests. A lot was happening. So it's not openly accepted, but they exist. If that helps her in any way.
So that right there, they just told on those gays, even though she's making it sound light, right? If I'm a Westerner, don't do it. Do not do it.
So let me say this. I know I talk a lot. I try to be quick. I try to make this quick. So we went to the A. Bryant's Fashion Awards. We covered it. I was there. Of course, I was in the video too, right? But I just want to play like a few seconds of the interviews for certain individuals that was on the red carpet, right? There's two in particular. One with the blonde hair. So we're going to do that right now, and then we're going to come back.
Alexandra.
Yeah,
from Turkey.
Oh, it's lovely. And what is the inspiration behind the outfit?
Behind the outfit?
Yeah.
This is my idea. I just seen her the idea, and she designed what I feel.
Okay, so we saw that.
So he's showing evidence at this hidden party, but here we go.
Those people, in my honest opinion, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand what their lifestyle is about. Okay? We went to the Kampala Chakali.
But you see, I'm guessing in Uganda, like many other African countries, if you want, just because you dress weird like that, they're not gonna just assume you're gay. They just feel like, hey, this guy want to dress like this? Sure. Nobody's gonna jump to that conclusion. I mean, some will, but as long as that's not what you're flaunting, they don't care.
Fashion show. Just recently. It's undisputed what's happening there. Here's the problem. If you are an African American and you're gay, and you come here and try to be gay.
Recordings just got better.
Oh,
Hey,
man.
Shana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that
Africans gonna say, these people were not like this before you got here. You brought that here.
Guys, you better listen to what O'Shea is saying. He's 100% correct. If you come there and you bring your lifestyle, they are going to say the Americans brought it. I know the British guy was being nice, but O'Shea is telling you facts on this one. Here we go.
So if you see somebody from the A. Bryant's Fashions Award show, it definitely was gays everywhere. Oh, he's Ugandan, he's gay, but don't ask, don't tell. We don't really know. He never came out and said he's gay, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But if you come here as a foreigner and do that, Africans going to say, see what those African Americans are doing? They're bringing homosexuality to Uganda.
O'Shea is right. Again, I'm glad he gave context. He showed, because, like Jonita, trying to do the female cute thing, trying to play like oh yeah, it's not a big deal. O'Shea is acknowledging, yes, these guys, they exist, but they've never come out and say they're gay. They've never said this to anyone. But now, if you come there and you start flaunting your lifestyle and telling people, they are going to say the Americans brought it. So listen to what he is saying. He's more realistic than the other guy. I mean, I think the DJ knows, but the black British men, they've beat them down hard in the UK. They are afraid to stand against this. So I don't blame this DJ for not. But this last time he was talking hard about white people. Yes, white people, it's okay to go against them. But if they're gay, you can't. Here we go. Hey guys, before I forget, one time I had this gay guy try to get me kicked out of a gym. It was unbelievable. At the gym, when they had the quote unquote, the pandemic. So these people, they came up with the idea that you got to wear a mask to exercise. So guys, I don't want to wear a mask to work out. Like, how stupid is that? So, but they're like, hey, if you don't want to wear a mask, you can just fill out an exemption, and that's what I did. I filled out the exemption. So I'm exercising and I'm far away from this guy. Distance. He walked all the way from his machine to come and ask me why I'm not wearing a mask. I told him, I said, how about you mind your own goddamn business? If you are so worried about your health, if that's what you believe in, you literally walked from your station to come and talk to somebody who doesn't have a mask on. He's like, oh, I'm going to go report you in the front desk. I just ignored him. I was like, he went and I guess they told him I have exemption. So he comes back. I was like, how did it go, you idiot? He goes to the front again. And so apparently the F word is now is a new slur. So apparently I would have been considered racist. They're like, did you use homophobic slurs? I said, what would that be? I was like, how did this turn into gay stuff? Like, the guy walked up to me, he provoked me, and I told him to F off. So now you guys want to turn this into that? I said, I'm filing discrimination for being black too then. So that's how they squashed it. I was like, I mean, if he's going to go that route, I'm also going to file discrimination for my skin color. Because I'll be damned for a white gay person to outdo me in this game. Yeah, trying to use sexuality against me when I'm black. You think I'm gonna let that go? You got me effed up.
Or to Africa, and they're gonna blame you. And there was a situation when we used to have, we won't call the person's name, but there was a situation, if you remember, in my apartment. Some woman brought a girl over to my house. Okay, this is during lockdown. We were shooting something. I won't tell you what we were shooting, but the girl was bisexual. I didn't know it. The person who brought them didn't tell me because the girl started sitting on her lap right there.
Yeah.
I said, bro, what are you doing? He goes, oh no, they're not together. The girl just ended up telling me that they were together. But I said, bro, you know what you're gonna do? People are gonna say that I am encouraging homosexuality in Africa.
O'Shea is 100% right. Because O'Shea, as you can see, over here in Kinganda, your videos are favorite. The Kinganda channel, you know, it's Afridamus channel's favorite to analyze because you're over there giving us the news. So I break it down to the blacks over here in America and everywhere. So we know what's going on. So right move there, O'Shea, not encouraging it because it's all gonna come back to you. So this is literally, this is an educational moment for most of you that, you know, want to go do this stuff over there. This would definitely help save you. Guys, please hit the like, hit the like.
And one thing I know about the diaspora, those who have left, those are the biggest critics. People think that nothing is wrong in Africa. You don't have gays, you don't have bisexuals. It only comes when you bring it here. Even the dating show, they criticize for that. Yeah. Oh, you girls are exploiting African women. Have you been to a club here in Kampala and see how these girls dress? Some of them. Listen, this is wild. It was 14 million people here in 1986. It's now almost 50. Somebody been fucking here to do something. Oh, God. Right? So it's cheating going on here in Africa. It's lying. It's killing. It's everything going on somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. These things will exist in whatever environment, but do you want to go and be a part of that? Like, participate? Why even risk it? It's like, okay, yeah, they already have trash, you know, why don't I bring trash and add it onto it? You know, that's basically what it is.
But if it happens, they didn't do it. You Americans did it. So with that perspective, the answer is to know that it goes on here. If you have money, it helps. But if you're an American and you're here, they're gonna get you, especially if you're a guy. I would say stay away. If that's my perspective. If you're, because somebody's gonna say, especially like, well, lady's an older lady. You out here dealing with a younger girl. Oh, the lady could be already going that way.
Yeah.
But you're gonna get blamed for it. So I think to a large part of it, she's right.
And O'Shea also, his take on this is right. He's correct about this. So here we go.
My honest opinion, that's a risk that I wouldn't take.
Okay.
Nathan, what do you have to say?
On the flip side of that,
yes.
So this is great conversation, by the way, because you have the FBA, the Foundational Black, and the Foundational Black Brit, and you have the Ugandan. So let's hear from the Foundational, you know, Black British. Here we go.
Some things that I've seen in my time living here, she could potentially encounter danger.
Yes, sure.
See, the Foundational British, he thought about it hard. He's like, yeah, O'Shea talked some sense into him. So he's like, you know what? Let me keep it 100. Guys, I would listen to them. I would listen to them if that's what you were trying to take over there. Look at even their facial expression.
Yeah. But there's also spaces which would embrace someone like her.
Yes.
And I've seen these spaces.
So what spaces are those? Give us names.
Yeah, maintain
them out.
Hold on.
Give us a little.
I'm just going to keep it as spaces for now. And
the military will show up tomorrow.
Yeah, for real.
What are you doing in our country?
But
you guys think it's a joke, but yes, they will show up.
Yeah, so I'm like 50-50 with it. But I see, but a lot of like one thing that surprised me growing up in London, because like guys just don't do that here. I've seen guys like just chatting, chilling, and he may owe the guy money and he'll slap the money in his hand and they'll keep holding each other's hand.
Yeah, that happens here. They're not gay though.
Yeah, but they're not gay. It's just like a brotherhood
They'll live
thing.
in
Brotherhood,
hag.
yeah,
It's a normal
yeah.
thing.
And
Very good point.
And they walk down the road hand in hand, chatting.
Yes,
till they get to the restaurant.
yes.
And
No, and they're not gay. No,
They're
I
not.
swear to God.
No, guys, that's normal. Like, even in Gambia, we do that. Like, you're hanging out with your friend, holding hands. I remember when I first came to America a while ago in New York, I was hanging out with my friend, and I just reach over, like because sometimes walking, you have your arm around his neck. He's like, whoa. He's like, hey man, we can't do that here. I said, why? He said, because they're gonna think we are homosexuals. I was like, what? But over there, yeah, it's normal. It doesn't mean you're really homosexual. So Western world definitely have screwed up the entire natural dynamic for people.
Holding hands, walking down the road.
Yes, I've
You haven't
seen
seen
it.
Ugandan men hold
Side-eye.
hands, and it's not even.
Yes.
But it's not even like on a gay thing. It's just like
Is Janita, one of those, African chicks who now come on these shows and play new? Like, what's going on here? She clearly knows. She clearly knows, like, okay, this is true. But she's like, no, this doesn't happen. Come on, Jonita, you want to tell me that you are not seeing this on the streets of Kampala? Bantu Queen, I agree with you. She needs a husband. Maybe one of the blacks can marry her. That's what she needs. So that, I don't know what world she's living in, but she needs to stop, playing delusion here. I mean, imagine Jonita coming to live in the United States. This woman is already in Uganda, playing the delusion part like this. Imagine bringing her here. This is crazy.
Right, you're my brother.
But like
You say
holding hands and walking down the road is a whole different. That's like 1 kilometer or something.
it wasn't a 1 kilometer. I never said it was a 1 kilometer. It was like maybe they walked 20 yards to the restaurant.
Look, no, but so now we're gonna put distance, like what the distance is. There's no rule on it. I mean, like, you're just walking. The bottom line is there's no sexuality attached to it. It's not like being gay. That's the whole point they are making.
Yeah, that's fine. They do that.
Yeah, I see that a lot. Yeah,
But in America, we think you gay.
yeah, exactly.
In London,
In
yeah.
London as well.
Yes.
You see that, and people would just assume, okay, those are
Because we
two-
have men who hug. Men hug here. They
Yeah.
hug each other. It's a normal.
What do you want?
Want a job that I don't hate.
thing.
Yeah, we hug in London and in
But you guys
America too.
just give like taps on
Well,
them.
yeah.
So you see, like in the US, London, all like guys, if you like in the prison, the gay stuff is like super touchy. Like even like these guys, you joke, even you call they cannot jokingly say B word. A guy would be willing to kill over that. So they made it tense for Western blacks. So definitely the thinking, how this is processed is completely different in the Western world. That's the whole point here. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
The United States
so
is like
that's
this.
What, so I think like in that, if you have that sort of comfortability about
Yeah.
your own person already, then there's potential for people
Yeah.
like
But you know what? Her being a female, I don't
Mhm.
think she'll be hated as much if she was a male.
Mm,
So if she
yeah.
says she's gay and she's female, I'm thinking she's interested in other women. And you
Mm.
can correct me if I'm wrong. That's true.
Yeah.
But I feel like when women are together, people might think, oh, they're just being drunk or they're just being funny.
Mhm.
Like if
Oh,
they're
yeah,
being
yeah,
cute.
yeah.
So I don't think she's gonna get that much hate.
Yeah.
Because it will just be seen as, oh, it's just two girls, feeling them. So I feel like men would even enjoy seeing them together. I don't think the hate she'll get as a woman won't be as much as the hate she would have gotten if she was a man.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is this though.
Guys, I will not listen to her. I dropped the link. Do you guys see the problem here? Like this woman is playing delusion with you. You're a Westerner. Okay? Do not listen to her. I don't think she understands what is going on. I don't think she gets it. So when they say if Africans don't accept this, that means they are backwards, she's the type they are targeting. She has to play this delusion to you to make you think, you know, using the word hate. It's not about the hate. It's a law. You don't want to be the one to experiment this. I'm telling you.
We have to understand that the East African community
Mm-hmm.
has been vehemently against homosexuality. Museveni has debated this on Al Jazeera and done fairly well in those debates, and has gotten, for a lot of the devout, which are a lot of people in the Christian community, Pentecostal community, a lot of people don't like homosexuality and they don't appreciate it. I would also say this. A lot of people who are moving back to Africa, one of the reasons why, and I'm not saying this is in my opinion, they don't dislike the person. They don't want to be around the culture that might be occurring in the States.
O'Shea is bringing a great point here. So maybe, yes, most of the people, right, that are now moving to Africa, the reason why they are moving, we're talking about the Black people, is because now here in the States, the lifestyle, how the culture have become, that's what they are moving away from. This, I'm talking about Black Americans themselves who don't practice this. They want to go and leave. They want to be away from this, period. That's why they are moving. But now, if you are following them over there, whose side, like, and it's already illegal over there, they are going to be quiet about it because their value on this matches the Africans' value. You are taking the blackness, but you're forgetting their value is not the same as yours. So O'Shea is making a great point.
One of the reasons why people are moving back to Africa is to get away from that world, from around their kids. It's something that's happening, right? People don't say anything about it, but people will say, look, I don't want my kids growing up with the whole transgenderism and all, like, you know, stuff like that, right? Like, you see it. But then the thing you gotta also understand is, for those people who do like it and it's okay with it, you're not the people that's in power. And rules can be broken if you have, let's say, if you're some.
So those of you talking about, like, because I've heard people saying Kenya, it's cool there, Uganda. It's like the entire East African bloc and West Africa also. I don't need to tell you. I've played you one single video. It's all across. Yes, does it exist? Yeah, but these people did not come out and say this is what they are. They did not come out. There is law that says when they do that, that the law, they would be prosecuted by this law because this is not accepted in that society. So now you have Black people in America who don't want to be a part of this as well. That's why they are moving to these various places, and you are following them over there.
Somebody, let's say, like Tom Ford. Everybody know Tom Ford is gay, but I wear Tom Ford cologne. Kevin Samuels loves Tom Ford. I love Tom Ford. Tom Ford come to Kampala. Tom Ford is also white and he's also rich. So I mean, there you go. Like Museveni might not have a problem with somebody like that. That can do something for the coming. You open up a Tom Ford store here, you're not gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
But if you're her, I'm poor, I'm disabled.
Oh yeah,
and then I'm gay. It's like, it's for people here, for somebody to want to maybe forgive that. Like,
look, if you're poor, disabled, and Black and gay also, the best place for you to be is the United States. Just stay here. You would get all the care you want and all the acceptance. You like, you're poor going, like, what are you going to do over there? Like, what's going on? You don't have money. Like, how are you gonna how are you gonna get there? And when you get there, where are you gonna stay? Who's gonna take care of you? You got to think about all that.
Like in the Black church, I grew up in the Black church. We've had our greats that were gay in the church. There was the Reverend James Cleveland. There was the Reverend allegedly Charles Nix. There is Richard Smallwood. Get it?
Guys, hit the link. The link is in the chat. Guys, hit it. Come on through. Let's have conversation.
Smallwood. I mean, how many of our organists in the church and choir directors in the church were gay? But the one thing that was Donnie McKirkland, if you heard him, is gay. He said he's not gay anymore, but he was gay.
All right. So, guys, I brought that part. So, because yes, O'Shea is correct. He is in line with what is there. He's not being delusional. He's telling you facts on this one. So there you have it, right? Guys, hit the link. I have KBM in the house, and Kaizorian said he is gay. So Kaizorian, hit the link. And let us know how gay you are. KBM, welcome to the Afridamus report.
Thank you.
So, you've seen the take. There are many, you're here from the States. So what I was speaking about, how the society that we have today, like what is being pushed. Would you say I'm correct to call it American Perversion News?
You're 100% correct. I don't think you do any of your shows, like half-minded. I think you put a lot into it in order to bring up, the title as it should be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, going on, the people, as you can see, they're pushing this agenda on Africa through questions. Oh, people that are asking, oh, if I'm gay, because I'm black, therefore it's synonymous with gay, because people have to have labels these days, right? Somehow. So you being a Kenyan by marriage, I know some of your haters are not, they're going to come for that, but he's Kenyan, whether you like it or not. What do you see in Kenya when you go there?
All right. Good question, by the way. In Kenya, it is not accepted. This is not acceptable behavior. There is a law in Kenya that if you are caught, of course, you have to be caught, so they're being fair. If you are caught in this type of engagement, you will go 14 years imprisonment. However, the thing is that it's not illegal to be one of these people in Kenya, but it's illegal for the act of doing this in Kenya. And by the way, Afridamus, there was somebody in the chat, Hawa. She told me about a video that recently happened in Kenya Parliament that a gentleman is asking for the death penalty. I sent that to you. I'm not saying play it today, but I sent that to you so you can analyze it in your WhatsApp.
Okay.
It's something that you might want to do later on because the title I agree with. Okay. I'm 100% against this, by the way. And one of the many reasons that I moved to Africa is this is one of those reasons.
Right. Yeah, because if you look at it, even because as you know, here in the United States, many people love to, have this delusion because they truly believe, they think this is how the rest of the world is. Right?
Yeah.
And like, as far as the black thing and adding this together, where do you see this going?
I see, to be honest with you, black or white, I see it being a total disaster because Caucasians have been trying to do this for the ones who are into it, trying to do this for decades, and they're failing. That so much so that there is a book, and I forget the title, I was trying to look for it before you started your show, of two European guys that wrote this book about the history of homosexuality in Africa, right?
Right.
And there's a couple things, one in South Africa, but the one in Kenya is based on the Kisi people, which Bantu Queen is a Kisi, right? And I was also talking to her prior to you starting the show in WhatsApp. Basically, in the Kisi culture, if a woman is married, right, and the husband dies, the husband's family is going to take the property in the house, the land, everything. So she's left with nothing. I don't think everybody practices that, but that is a practice in Kenya through that tribe, right? So what they have there, they have what they call female to female marriage in the Kisi culture. And it is not, I repeat, it is not for homosexuality. The reason that they do this is for a couple reasons. For one could be that women are barren and they don't have any kids, so they do this, but they still have sex with men. Okay, and the other one, which is more important, that I hear more often than not, is so that they can keep what they own. So therefore, if they go ahead and get married to another woman, what they're going to do, they're still going to have relationships with men. But if one of the spouses die as just marriage only in that union, that's it. They get to keep the land, the property, everything. There's nobody's family from her side that's going to take it away from the other woman. Okay.
Right.
So in this book, Afridamus, in this book, these two men were trying to say that they were doing it for homosexuality. That is the blatant lie. And in this book, there's blatant lies all throughout Africa that these two men were writing.
Exactly. That's why I see up here, I put the dashiki old guys here, just to remind, people, because some people think coming up here, right, to, let's say, argue against, or to say, oh man, you bring in a different perspective, they are totally against it. Do you think like this here, am I saving lives? Some of the people who are caught in their, state of delusion about, this Back to Africa movement. Because, let's be real, there are a lot of good people who truly also are moving away to get away from this lifestyle. Would that be correct?
I would have to say so, because if I'm a person and I'm saying this is one of many reasons why I'm leaving this country, right? Then other people obviously have the same idea. It's either the singular reason or it's one of many reasons. Let's be honest. People around the world think of the same things. People are not a monolith, period. People have their own ideas of why they do and why they do and do not want to do things.
Exactly. So I remember one time you sent me a video. It was about this black, homosexual that went to Kenya. Remember the guy with the Airbnb situation?
Yes, Julius Albino, an American sodomite. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I saw that, right? So, I mean, I didn't know much about him. Like, what do you think he was doing in Kenya? Was he trying? Is he like trying to? Is he like a disciple promoting the lifestyle there?
Right. Anytime that you walk the walk, you talk the talk, you are a disciple of that death style. I call it. I don't call it a lifestyle. I call it a death style. And within that, yes, he was going there to help promote it. But also the other thing is that, and I didn't finish from the first part, that in Kenya, when I said it's not accepted, the people in Kenya that are Kenyans that approve of this are the people who are the sellouts. They are the people that usually work in what? TV, radio. You know how this follows.
So they are like
always in, they're in big media. You talk to the average Kenyan, and there was a survey, a video done a long time ago by I think it was by Kenyans, that easily 10% approve and the other 90% didn't. These were just street interviews in hair shops and things like that. So therefore, I've seen some Kenyans on the coast, like in Mombasa. You would think probably that would be a place that you might be able to get away with it, right? I remember they interviewed this one man, and he was like, doing something on the ocean beach with the net, I think it was. And he said, they asked him, if your son or daughter was like this, what would you do? He said, I'll kill them. I'll kill them. This is in Kenya on the coast. He said he would kill his own kids if they ended up like that, because he didn't want the embarrassment, and they didn't grow up that way. And it's un-African.
That's what do you think about, my former president, Jammeh in the Gambia, his take on it about his never saw gay cuddles.
I'm glad he brought that up, because I also have to say this. A lot of these people will say, well, animals are gay. You see lions, doing this, whatever. See, the thing is, the animal kingdom is not the human kingdom. And a lot of people like to say we're just animals, right? Okay, right. You are an animal if you want to act like a beast. So beasts don't know what they're doing. Right. They don't know right or wrong. So when they do that, they don't know. However, Humans have carnal knowledge of what it is that they're doing. So it is a decision for humans to do this. It is not a natural state of mind.
Well, you guys heard KBM and you heard Museveni and all the other African presidents. You know, it doesn't look like, you know, Africans are ready to accept this. You know, what do you make of? Have you seen Gabriel Union's new?
I haven't seen it yet. Everybody's been talking about it. I don't know why I forget to go search for it, but I'm definitely going to check it out, because if I do this and I haven't checked it out for a week, I'm eventually it's going to happen. So go ahead and tell me what it is, because everybody seems to know and I don't.
Well, the new, according to her, the new agenda, you know, you're aware of like the Dwayne Wade's son, you know, becoming a she.
So she's talking.
So now
confusion.
she's saying now that's what they are pushing. That's the new agenda. So apparently it is blacks that are being targeted, you know, the black transgenders. So I heard recently she's in Ghana. I'm going to look into that because it looks like Ghana is becoming the hotbed. I think we have been infiltrated by the, you know, especially the foundational black British. I think they infiltrated Ghana. Nana Akufo grew up in the UK. You know, I've been doing research. I suspected it. I was like, wow, the foundational black British have infiltrated us, you know, but let's see. I don't know what the future holds, but they're definitely bombarding, you know, Ghana is hotbed, and they want Museveni or Ghana, Uganda, and Kenya, and Gambia too.
I think
all
these
54
locations. Well, the thing about Kenya is being so popular is that, like Nigeria, but Kenya has better internet. Is that we're always on the internet. We are always on the internet. We got fiber optics, so we're always on the internet. So we can push more about what Kenya is out there easier, a lot more easy than most African countries. You really don't hear much about Gabon, right?
Right.
You really don't hear much about, you know, EQ. So you're going to have places like Nigeria, Ghana, the Gambia, and Kenya is going to be more popular for now. South Africa as well. You know, I got to mention, you said something about the questions, right?
Right.
The questions that people are asking. And these are questions being asked by FBAs, Caucasians, Asians, when they're in Africa, or even when you're an African in their country. So therefore, I had a friend in Spokane. You know where Spokane is. You're in the same state. When I lived there, I had a Maasai friend. He said to me that a woman asked, are the Maasai women this way? Like she was trying to actually say the word, but it was to be, are the Maasai women homo? Because she wanted to go to Maasai Mara, where he is from, to engage with Maasai women and have these type of relationships with these Maasai women, where that is not even an issue in Kenya. It's not our issue. And he said, no. And he said he was silent. He said no. And then she got the message real quick. The thing is that these questions are always happening. Like, say, for example, especially with young people, and everybody in Africa need to know this that doesn't know. When you have a Westerner that comes, right? They might be doing an NGO, they might be doing something else, right? You go around a campfire. I'll just use the campfire as an example. You buy yourselves with them, and they're scared because they know already that this is not accepted in Africa. But they try to they try to befriend you first, and then they'll ask the question. And these are even people who are not even these type of people, but support it.
Right.
What do you think? The question is usually like, what do you think about LGBT?
Right.
Why are they asking this question? Right away with kids, you know, teenagers and young adults that know what the older adults already know, is that you need to squash that conversation right there and then. It needs to be eliminated.
Exactly.
Because if the person has to ask that, really, that's really no friend to Africa. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, straight, like, like once the person is asking you that, you're like, that should be, the red flag, because like, why would you be asking this question? I mean, but you are not even, as far as they're concerned, you are not supposed to, like, your value doesn't matter. Because look at when Museveni was against it,
Mhm.
and it still is. When Obama was president, which indirectly probably is now, it's like they are pushing it.
Right.
It's like, oh, we're gonna punish you. So that alone should, send the red flag. How is that human rights? If I don't follow your lifestyle, then I have to be punished. What is it about your lifestyle that needs to be forced upon everybody else?
Well, the reason why they're trying to push their death style on everybody else is that there is a longer, deeper agenda. And of course, we know that's corporate America, or the world of corporations, as well as government, that want to lower the population. And this
Yes.
is one of many ways to do it, right? One of many ways, not the only way. However, this particular way has a big drawback of people who get into this, especially if they're changing their organ, right?
Yeah.
They can never go back, because most of these people become very depressed later. What they don't tell you about, and for the few people that are depressed when they've already done the quote unquote sex change, they commit suicide, and when they speak out, then all of a sudden they're against the quote unquote LGBT mafia, just like you and me.
Right.
They now become an outcast, and they say, well, I didn't realize, or they made it seem like it's so glorious that if I did this, I'm going to live a better life.
Right.
And find out that that's not true. There's a particular woman that tried to be a man, and to make her her fake, they took a chunk out of her forearm, on the bottom of her forearm, right?
Yeah, I've seen that video.
Okay. So you know what it is, and how she was talking about wanting to take her life, and that she's totally ruined. And if I can remember, she used to be married, and I think she had a couple kids, and she can never look at her kids as a mom again. Right?
Yeah,
And that's go ahead.
It's definitely just because it's normalized in the West, in Africa it's not.
Right. And also I want to say kudos to that Ugandan, the lady you brought up earlier. One of the things that she said is absolutely true. And so y'all can get mad at me in the States if you want. The one thing she said is that she said Americans are perverted. We just know that it's so much so that's true. And she does have, she does have the smarts to say, doesn't have to say most, because she already knows it's not most.
Right.
Or excuse me. No, most, but not all.
Yeah.
She knows it's most, but not all. But it's true. Most Americans are perverted. Why is that? Because the TV from cartoons on up are perverted cartoons. And this has been going on for a long time. You have, like my father, he didn't care, but he never wanted me to open the magazines. He used to have nudie magazines while I was like 7, 8, 9 years old on the coffee table, and said, don't you look into those magazines while I'm gone. But as a kid, you already know that a kid is going to go in there and look at those pictures in that magazine. Right. So that was a stupid thing for him to do. He didn't take the responsibility to put those things away, so I wouldn't have access to them. So
exactly. They're selling it, pushing it on kids, and more and more people are seeing it. And in the States, in the Western world, it looks like it's dominant now.
Right.
But when it comes to Africa, I don't see it, being accepted no time soon. So, but KBM, go ahead, say your last piece. Actually,
I got more to say if you got more people to bring on, but
no, go ahead.
I got a few more things to say about Uganda, but let me start with this, and I can bring the rest on later. There's a gentleman David Cato back in 2011, who was murdered. He was, I guess, a school teacher as a profession, but he also was considered Uganda's first known gay man, and he was an activist. He was murdered by another man that they caught. All right, hit him in the head twice with a hammer in the back of the head. Okay, so what had happened is the what is it called? The something watch here in America, Human Rights Watch, which is nothing but a LGBT organization, 100%, and something international. They wanted an official investigation into this guy's murder, right?
Right.
Okay, so what they did is they found the guy who murdered him, and there's two things about him. He was a thief. Okay, because they reported that things in his home were stolen that day, and he was also murdered, I guess, in the middle of the day, which is kind of odd in the country that people that get murdered in the middle of the day, according to this report. Not only that, come to find out, he was also a gay prostitute in Uganda who had frequent with David Cato a lot. So they got into some type of argument, and he's reiterated many times to Western media that we're talking about the guy who did the murder, that he did go with David Cato, and David Cato did not pay him for his favors. So what the Human Rights Watch and all these other organizations, they totally didn't care about that. They just said he was murdered, and it was anti-LGBT.
Oh,
that was not the case.
Well, yeah, I mean, the propaganda, they have to use any opportunity like that to try to frame it, I mean, so, but it's not gonna stop. They're gonna keep pushing, and Africans have to, beware, of it. And I think more and more people are seeing it, and you're seeing the pushback.
Right, and that tactic that they used by ignoring the fact that the murderer was one of him is the same type of thing you see in America, where you have some black folks that are calling Caucasians racist just based on the color of their skin when they're not. It's the same type of tactic. So we know where they learn these types of tactics from is from racism. So it does have a correlation with the two.
Right. Well, it's the same type of education, same indoctrination. So it's just the same, along the same line. It's about creating quote unquote community. So it's like this community it's like divide and conquer.
Right.
Create these people versus these other people. And you have the puppet masters watching. So that's exactly what we're seeing. But KBM, I have to run. I gotta do some stuff here.
Okay.
I know the conversation we're having fun, but I'll probably try to come back and do another topic since I missed out yesterday.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me on. I had a lot more to say, but I got most of it out. Anyway, everybody, be careful out there. Don't let this agenda come in and try to come in the back door, because that's what they're expecting. And also with these people, they also support sex tourists because it's another perversion, and these people support all perversion. So if you think this is just the only problem, look at sex tourism again and human trafficking, because they actually do support that stuff in order to get their agenda pushed.
Yeah, I mean it's all over.
Right.
It's definitely in people's face. So now the point is they're trying to attack like people like Museveni, the president of Kenya, like just attack. Because I remember even the current Gambian president, when he first came to power, they took him to Chatham House in the UK, and I saw the video. Tony Blair, the first thing they went for is they want to overturn the gay rule in the Gambia. But that president did not dare try that, because if he overturns that, they would oust him. There's no way they would accept that.
Yeah, and I'm glad before he went out, left power, that he made that stance in that interview. And there's a lot of those type of reporters. I've seen one in Kenya do the same thing.
Oh yes, I saw that one. I saw that one too. So that's what they're using. The Africans who grew up in the West or born there, send them back to come and ask these questions.
Right. Soften them up, send them back. All right, Afridamus, I'm going to go.
All right, thank you. Guys, that brings us to the end of the show. I might come back again because, I missed out on yesterday. But please hit the like, leave your comments, let me know what you think. Do you foresee Africans accepting this? Or, you want to advise anyone who quote unquote want to do this repatriation thing? Don't lead with your sexuality. It's against African culture, as you can see. I have shown different presidents' take on it, from the West Coast all the way to Southeast. You name it. Some are much nicer about it, but their stance is still 100% the same. But until next time, I will see you guys in a bit.
Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Baby girl love my bop and unlike me too. No roof on my top and my babe see-through. Hating on the pen, don't stop, shit ain't gon' feed you. I've been all on my grind, so why I need you? Big flex, my swole up. Double cup and I'm pulled up. Niggas hating like hold up. What's the